shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
Our next weather maker is a warm front that's bringing some showers to our area. I'll show you who will see it during the morning commute.
Crime in Durham. Today, the police chief will share the latest data from across the city, what the mayor says he is doing to try to stop violence. And here is a live look at RDU on the left, and Terminal 1 will look a little different starting today. That's the other terminal. The change is set to open this morning at the airport as part of its major expansion project. Some new restaurants and stores the next time you check out Terminal 1. Good morning, everyone. It is 4:30. A lot to tell you about here on this Thursday morning. It's going to be another warm one, and boy, does it feel mild out there. Let's check in with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner, and nice not to have a heavy coat or jacket.
Yeah, very similar to yesterday, but even warmer. Our flow, of course, over the last 24 to 36 hours has come out of the southwest, really pulling that warm air in. And here's our warm front. That warm front will be lifting north of us, and so we're in what we call the warm sector of this system. And along that front, we're seeing just some light patchy rain. We'll zoom in and take a look at dual Doppler 5000 radar from Raleigh southward. It is dry this morning, but we move northward and up the I-85 corridor, especially over toward Roanoke Rapids and into Virginia. That's where we're seeing some rain right now. That's where the bulk of it will be today, but later this afternoon there could be just a few isolated showers that pop up across our area. So we do have the top of the tower lit in green for the chance for rain today. It'll be gray like it was yesterday, and our high right now is 58 degrees. Currently our wind is calm, and it should be a little less than it was yesterday. It's 59 in Fayetteville, 57 Rocky Mount, and 54 in Roxborough. And our temperatures will be even warmer this afternoon than yesterday. Even with cloud cover and a few showers, we'll climb into the low 70s. So it's going to be an active several days. We have more rain in our forecast, and we could tie a record high. We'll take a look at all of that coming up.
Elizabeth, thank you. 2 Raleigh families are out of their homes this morning after a fire at an apartment complex. Flames broke out last night around 9:30 on Sedgwick Drive. The fire department called this a hidden fire because it was inside the walls of the building. Firefighters had to use thermal imaging to fight the fire. They find the fire. They then cut into the floor and walls to put it out. It's still unclear how many people are out of their homes. Happening today, the man accused of killing a soldier and his ex-girlfriend in Moore County is expected to appear in court. Caleb Fosnaugh is back in North Carolina after being arrested in Ohio. He's accused of killing his ex-girlfriend, Katerina Tavmash, and her new boyfriend, Private First Class Matthew Wade, in Vass on Saturday. Tavmash was a Ukrainian refugee. Happening today, Durham's police chief will present new crime numbers to city leaders. This comes after several shootings across the city in the past week. WRAL's Adley Calabar is live at the Durham Police Department this morning. And Allie, the mayor is already taking steps to address crime in Durham.
Yeah, Renee, and Chief Patrice Andrews will be presenting that 2025 fourth quarter report today. This comes after an uptick in crime just in the past 7 days. We've seen 7 people get shot, 22 just in 2026. But as for 2025, the report does show that there is an increase in violence among youth, but overall decrease in crime. This crime report is data from January through December 2025. The number of homicides stayed the same. 39 people were killed last year, the same number killed in 2024. Durham Police Department reports an overall decrease in violent and property crimes compared to 2024, but juvenile crime has increased by 12%. People under the age of 18 were charged with 66 more crimes last year compared to 2024. Mayor Leo Williams says the overall decrease is a sign of hope.
We aren't where we want to be. But one thing I can say is we are to the point where we can now realize it is possible to reduce this to a very minimum manageable state.
In the next 30 minutes, we're going to hear from Mayor Leo Williams again, and this time about the immediate action he's working on taking against the violence in the community. Reporting live in Durham, Allie Calabar, WRAL News.
A Wake County woman is due in court today, accused of stealing tens of thousands of dollars from a school that she worked at for more than a year. Wake Forest police have arrested and charged Anna Marie Etheridge of felony embezzlement. She's accused of stealing more than $30,000 from the Wake Forest Elementary PTA. This incident allegedly happened in January of last year when Etheridge was serving as PTA treasurer. The reward has gone up to more than $200,000 for information to help find Nancy Guthrie. And that's because a Milwaukee attorney announced that he was putting up an additional $100,000 on top of the FBI's reward. It's been nearly 3 weeks since the mother of Today Show anchor Savannah Guthrie was last seen at her home in Tucson, Arizona. Right now, law enforcement is focusing on unknown DNA found at Nancy Guthrie's home. Investigators are canvassing gun shops across the area after spotting a holster on doorbell video from the night she disappeared. Investigators say the FBI has received more than 18,000 tips in this case. WRAL has followed new developments in this case since the beginning. You can find our extensive coverage on the WRAL YouTube page. Just search Nancy Guthrie. Watch our WRAL evening newscast for any updates we learn throughout the day. Our evening newscast starts at 4 p.m. Only on WRAL, we are hearing from the sister of Alicia Watts. This is after the man accused of killing her accepted a plea deal yesterday. Watts was killed in the summer of 2023. Her body was found about 20 minutes from her home in Moore County, more than a month after she was reported missing. Her boyfriend, James Dunmore, entered an Alford plea for voluntary manslaughter and failure to disclose the death. That means he is entering a plea while maintaining his innocence. In court, Dunmore apologized to the Watts family. Her family is struggling with the lack of closure.
She was excited that she found love with this gentleman, and then you took her away from us, and we don't know why, and you still cannot face us and tell us why.
Dunmore was sentenced to a minimum of nearly 10 years, but he may only spend 7 years in prison because of credit for time already served. Attorneys for Andrea Faust filed a motion to move her to a safekeeping unit after she tried to take her own life in jail. The Durham woman is accused of trying to kill her children last week. One of them died, the other will survive. Faust is charged with murder and attempted murder. She made her first appearance from her hospital bed. Her husband made an emotional plea in court Tuesday, begging her not to hurt herself again and to get the help she needs. Faust is in jail without bond, and her husband says the child that she injured is expected to make a full recovery. Some changes on the way at RDU, but it's in an area you haven't seen. Terminal 1 will see some new upgrades starting today. WRAL's Sean Gallagher is there now. And Sean, this has been a long time coming for Terminal 1.
Yeah, that's for sure, Renee. You know, Terminal 2 is usually the one that gets all the love, but when you head up the escalator here at Terminal 1 starting today, you'll see those upgrades once you get through the TSA checkpoint. All of this part of the airport's ongoing $2.5 billion expansion projects, and while you've likely seen the expansion at Terminal 2, today Terminal 1 will see new restaurants and stores opening up. That includes the Raleigh Beer Garden, also an Italian restaurant and a candy store, plus upgrades to the ACC Cafe and news and gift shops as well. These upgrades part and parcel with the expansion project, including the early construction that started this week to widen John Brantley Boulevard, and of course all of this to increase the traveler experience, which will reduce congestion, minimize bottlenecks, just make it a lot easier. All of this, again, part of the airport's ongoing $2.5 billion expansion projects. And while you're always encouraged to get here early for your flights, especially during these expansion projects, you want to give yourself a little bit more time. That's why they always recommend 2 hours ahead of domestic flights, 3 hours if you're going international. For now, live at RDU, Sean Gallagher, WRAL News.
A third suspect now faces charges as part of a Duke Energy fraud case in Wake County. 29-year-old Shania Dove was appointed a public defender in court yesterday after posting a $50,000 bond on Tuesday. The sheriff's office made its first arrest in this case back in October and then the second in December. All three are accused of stealing identities to create fraudulent Duke Energy accounts, totaling hundreds of thousands of dollars in losses for the company. The mayor of Creedmoor faces a DWI after crashing his car. Troopers say Antoine Downey was driving on US 15 Monday night when he drove off the road, hit a ditch and a tree. This is the SUV that he was driving with damage to the windshield, the front bumper, and tire. WRAL uncovered Downey has been convicted of DWI 4 times before. Emergency lights on the tarmac after a JetBlue flight had to be evacuated in New Jersey. So this happened last night at Newark Liberty International Airport. The flight was headed for West Palm Beach, but returned to the airport minutes after takeoff. The FAA says smoke was reported in the cockpit and the plane experienced engine trouble. The plane landed safely and no one was hurt. Delays, though, out of New Jersey persisted throughout the night. The cause of the engine issue and cockpit smoke remains under investigation. President Trump held a gathering at the White House to celebrate Black History Month. Last night's event packed the East Room. The president spoke about his administration's work on criminal justice reform, school choice, and other issues. The president also took a moment to honor the Reverend Jesse Jackson, the civil rights icon, who died earlier this week.
He's a good man. He was actually, as you got to know him, he got better and better all the time. A lot of people, you get to know him, they get worse and worse. Jesse got better and better.
At one point, the crowd began chanting 4 more years. Here's what we're watching for today in the Winter Olympics. This afternoon, the U.S. women's hockey team will compete for the gold against Canada, and the Blade Angels will take to the ice again. Team USA's Amber Glenn, Alyssa Liu, and Isabeau Levito will compete in the finals of the women's single skate figure skating event. Medals will also be awarded in events including women's ski mountaineering. That's a new sport in this year's Winter Olympics, and men's speed skating, as well as Nordic combined cross country. So ski mountaineering, a new event at this year's Winter Olympics. The event is also called Ski-Mo. So competitors race up the hill and then ski down as quickly as possible. The last time a new sport was added to the Winter Olympics was skeleton in 2002. And here's a look at the medals awarded so far. Norway in the lead with 33 medals. Italy is next on their home turf, a total of 26 medals. Team USA right behind them with 24. Japan and Germany round out the top 5. 4:42 on your Thursday morning. Mail warning. Thieves are targeting mailboxes this time of year and washing checks. What the Wake County Sheriff says you should never do with your tax payment. Plus, a deadly avalanche near Lake Tahoe is now a recovery mission. What survivors did to stay alive in brutal conditions. Really mild conditions for us right now. A taste of spring in Pittsburgh as we look live. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner tells us the taste of spring that we'll experience the rest of this week.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
It's 4:46. We do have a few light showers that are up near the Virginia line this morning, and that's mostly where they'll stay until a bit later this afternoon. Once we get closer to lunchtime, there'll be just a few isolated showers that could pop up anywhere, but we're really not going to see enough rain to even measure anything in the rain gauges today. It'll just be an annoyance more than anything. We could still really use the rain, and we do have more chances over the next few days, and we'll walk through that coming up. We do have the top of the tower lit in green this morning for the chance for some showers, and it's warmer than yesterday. We'll also be watching for some fog. Roanoke Rapids is showing up with some fog there at 52 degrees, 58 in Raleigh, 57 Wilson, and in Rocky Mount. These temperatures are maybe about 5 degrees warmer than yesterday. So once again, you don't need to grab your winter coat. You might want to take along an umbrella. We really don't have a lot of rain in our forecast, but you may want to take it just to be safe. I don't know that I would bother sending rain gear out with the kids this morning. It is going to be a nice warm afternoon. Highs will be in the low 70s, but will be cloudy all day. Renee?
Elizabeth, thank you. An avalanche near Lake Tahoe is now a recovery mission. 8 skiers are dead. 1 still missing is presumed dead. The avalanche hit a group of 15 backcountry skiers near Truckee. 6 survived after building a shelter. Officials say weather and dangerous conditions made that rescue difficult. In South Korea, a court sentenced former President Yoon Suk-yeol to life in prison. He was convicted of leading an insurrection after declaring martial law and sending troops into parliament in 2024. Supporters and critics gathered outside the courthouse in Seoul. Yoon denies the charges. He says lawmakers were blocking his agenda. A warning before you put that tax check in the mail. Check washing cases rise this time of year. That's where thieves take checks from your mailbox and chemically wash them to erase the ink. They can change the name of the recipient and alter the total. That's why the Wake County Sheriff recommends avoiding mailing checks altogether. A new brew supporting our state. Asheville's Highwire Brewing is teaming up with Charlotte's Noda Brewing to release Odyssey IPA. A portion of the proceeds will go to continued Helene recovery efforts in Western North Carolina. The partnership is a full circle moment for both breweries after Noda trucked in supplies for the Asheville community. They also brewed over 1,000 barrels of beer for Highwire while the city's water remained offline for weeks. Odyssey IPA will be available starting March 27th. A win-win there. And meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner are joining me now. We have Oklahoma under a state of emergency as wildfires burn through thousands of acres.
We do. So the same system that we've been watching all week, we've been talking about all that snow that's been out there across the west. We were just talking about the avalanche that happened. Well, that system, as it moves eastward, is bringing windy conditions to parts of the country. We were a little bit windy to breezy yesterday, but again, Oklahoma is under that state of emergency, and you can see how that wind is really causing a lot of problems with those wildfires. They've been hard to get under control. And at this point, there's not a lot of rain in the forecast for them, but there is a second system that's back to the west. Let's take a look at the big picture right now. And you can see some snow over the Rockies. And of course, Oklahoma is right here. They've got a strong southerly flow, and this cold front that came through yesterday, that's what brought a lot of the wind that helped to fuel those wildfires. So we do have this system that helped to bring some snow across parts of the Rockies heading our way, and it will roll through here. And that's what's going to bring us our best chance of rain as we get into the weekend. So here's what we're looking at. We have periods of rain on and off through the weekend. Saturday right now looks like the wettest day. It's going to be nice and warm ahead of that front and with that rain. And then behind the front, starting Sunday, we begin to see our temperatures cool down again. Here's a look at Dual Doppler 5000 radar. Earlier this morning, we had some patchy rain in our northern counties. That's really almost over at this point, but Futurecast does show some more of that as we get through the day. We'll pause it around, say, 10 or 11, and closer to lunchtime, a few showers start to show up again near the Virginia line, and maybe one or two in any part of the viewing area. So again, you can tell there's just not going to be a whole lot of it, though. Top of the tower is lit in green this morning. 58 degrees is our temperature, and our temperatures across the area are much warmer than yesterday. We're in the mid to upper 50s, and our temperature changed about 5 or so degrees warmer than this time yesterday. It's going to be a mild afternoon. 72 in Raleigh, 71 in Durham, and 75 degrees in Fayetteville. And as we move forward, we again get into a better chance of some showers on Saturday. Sunday, it lingers, but we may see those temperatures really starting to drop at that point. We're going to be very close to, if not above, a record high for tomorrow. The record's 75. We get at 76. But once we get past Sunday, wow, winter is back for a little while. We do have some rain in the forecast. Before that, we'll talk about how much we could total in the rain gauges coming up.
We knew these warm temperatures wouldn't last. Elizabeth, thank you. Ice cream rescue. A DoorDash driver makes a delivery and ends up saving a family's life. What they noticed before leaving the home. 4:54 as we take a live look at Franklin Street in Chapel Hill. A very mild start, temperatures in the 50s, and we're only going up from here. You're watching WRAL News, available on Hulu and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device. An ice cream delivery at a home in Hope Mills saved a family's life. A mom says her children ordered ice cream Monday night through DoorDash. Before leaving, the delivery person noticed something on the side of the house and started yelling, "Your house is on fire." And she called 911. Fire crews got there in less than 5 minutes, and this is the only damage to the home.
I said thank you to her, but was really quick. "Oh, thank you for calling." But I never really properly thanked her. After everything, calmed down a little bit, the next day I realize that, oh my gosh, this woman has saved my whole entire family.
She was home with her 2 children, plus their 3 dogs and a cat. Students at Duke get excited this time every year because of a storied tradition that dates back longer than they've been alive. Krzyzewskiville is 40 years old. In the lead up to Duke's rivalry game against Carolina, students camp outside of Cameron Indoor Stadium for 6 weeks so they can secure a spot in line to get those coveted tickets. This year, there are 130 tents with about 12 students in each tent in all kinds of weather. They will tell you it is worth it.
There's nothing like Duke UNC when you're sitting in the student section. There's nothing. Truly, it's the energy, right? The rivalry. There's just so many years of passion that you can't fake that. No other experience can make that happen. Only Duke UNC in Cameron.
And so this is worth it.
At home, no question. This is beyond worth it. I would do it for longer.
The Duke UNC game is Saturday, March 7th. Glad they have warmer temperatures this week for sure. Well, up next, workplace warning. A new push targets one of the leading causes of job-related deaths in North Carolina. What officials say is putting workers at risk. Plus, tax season reminders. It is time to start collecting your documents and file. 5 on your side breaks down the big changes this year.